Everyone here understands the importance of doing everything we can to increase the numbers of people who have been highly educated in the STEM field. And we cannot get there without addressing the issue of diversity and achievement. And this, of course, is not just about ethnic, racial, or gender diversity, although we know that we will get nowhere without tackling those key issues. It's also about diversity of experience, socioeconomic status, and the multitude of entry points and pathways through which students can pursue STEM careers. So, for example, at UMBC, 50% roughly of the students that we admit are in fact transfer students. So this is a very brief overview of some of the components of what we are working on together in our collaborative project. And it's obviously a list, but what we're doing is more than a list of individual programs, and I want to just spend a few moments and walk you through here. At the top of the list is institutional partnerships. One of the things that we're really trying to do together is to understand how to build effective institutional partnerships that are focused on students. Now, we've all been engaged in this. We know that this is sometimes a difficult task to put together. What we're trying to do is, by building our collaborative partnership, which we've been doing for the last year, we can understand the most effective way of driving these collaborations, again focused on supporting the success of our students. The second area is curricular alignment, although sometimes I think we might want to drop the term curricular here. What we're talking about, of course, is alignment of the curriculum, but more importantly, we also need to think very carefully about the alignment of skills and competencies between our institutions to support the student success. So it's more than just curriculum. It's a much broader effort than that, and we're engaged in that also. It's about academic and career advising. And again, this is not a question of advising or career advising that's siloed into institutions, but how do we work together to provide effective academic and career advising throughout the career of a student who may transfer between one institution and another. This is particularly important in the career area and in early advising that may occur at a community college for students who are interested in transferring to a four-year institution. It includes transfer seminars. Sometimes we talk of these types of things as bridging or orientation. We don't think that way anymore. We're not trying to build a bridge between two institutions. We've recognized very early on that we need to think about integrating those institutions in some way, rather than thinking about a transition from one place to another. An important component of that is transfer seminars, which occur not only here at UMBC, but also occur in our partner institutions very early on. And we're working together to develop those seminars, two sets of seminars, A and B, one at community colleges and one at our institution. Academic pathways, I think everyone is aware of this, making sure our students understand fully the pathways that they wish to pursue, then providing them with the support to stay on that pathway and the appropriate advising. Technological innovations. Now, what we're really talking about here is how can we leverage technology to support the success of our students. I'm not necessarily talking about online courses, but how do we leverage technology to do things like really effective advising for our students. Transitional connections, this is related, I guess, to what you would call the social aspect of integration, the transition between two different campuses, student affairs on every of the campuses working very hard on this. And then you see toolkit development. What does that mean? That means actually developing meaningful tools that can be employed not only by each of the institutions that are collaborative partners, but are transferable to other institutions. So, for example, if you want to effectively align an academic program between two institutions, how do you actually do that? What's the process for doing that? What's the process for finding differences, resolving them? And if there are remaining differences, what's the process for actually putting things in place that get through those differences there? That's what we mean by toolkit development for a national model. And of course, the key component of all of this is that we need to be able to both evaluate what we are doing to see that that's actually working, and if it's not working, to change it. And finally, to disseminate the results that we get, not just in terms of publications, but be able to talk nationally about our experience with this project. And so I'm going to leave you with, I think, the piece, and I hope I can speak for my colleagues here. This is, I think, the piece that I certainly, and I believe my colleagues, are most proud of. And this is a vision statement that was developed jointly by the 5 collaborative partners. And it was developed to guide our work together very early on. And I'm going to read some aspects of it, and I know my community college colleagues will come up in a moment and talk a little bit about this. But at the heart of this project is our deep shared commitment to student success. That's our fundamental value. Ensuring equal access to a range of educational opportunities, offering a network of support comprehensive that transcends the normal institutional boundaries, and pursuing excellence across the STEM disciplines. With these resources, we encourage students to actively engage in their learning, to enthusiastically pursue their academic milestones, and to make meaningful career choices. And finally, this is our commitment to each other. As institutional partners, we seek to ground this work in reciprocal and respectful relationships, and to build strong collaborative structures that sustain this significant work. And I believe it's fair to say that we have absolutely been able to do this through the past year. It has been a quite wonderful experience for all of us who've been involved, a really transformational experience. So now I would like to introduce my colleague, Rich. Rich from Anne Arundel Community College is going to come up and say a few words. Do you want to come up to the front there?
I think we decided we'll stay here.
Oh, okay.
That way we cut out the transitional time.
Okay.
I'm Rich Sakonik. I'm the director of the STEM Center at Anne Arundel Community College. I've been fortunate to be at Anne Arundel for over 23 years. And I've been fortunate that in the last several years been able to work with a number of UMBC folks on a variety of projects. And I'm quite confident that I have no doubt that this collaboration will be just as fulfilling. I'd like to just take a few moments to introduce some of my colleagues who've been able to make it here. From our chemistry alignment group, Maureen Scher, and she's here. From our advising and transition and transfer folks, we have Ed Hall, and Fran Turcott, and Janice Watley. Okay, and from our public relations office, helping out with collecting things is Lori Farrell. All right. Anybody else from Anne Arundel I missed? All right. Well, thank you for. I didn't see. I didn't see Bonnie over there, right. And Bonnie Garrett from our advising. All right.
And your president.
Well, that's next. That's next. Right. So for the work groups, thank you for all your expertise and your efforts. And I'd like to introduce you to our newest president and 6th president of Anne Arundel Community College, Dr. Don Lindsay.
He's 4 months on the job. 4 months.
Sharon from Howard Community College.
Good afternoon, everyone. When they asked me to say a few words, I looked at the vision statement and I thought about our mission statement, which is providing pathways to success. And then I also looked at one of the values, one of our core values is partnerships. So this collaborative effort that we are in with our partners aligns perfectly with our strategic plan and with our core work. And we are thrilled to be a part of this. And we've had a group that have been working on this, and they talk about it being a transformative experience and the trust that has been built among the people who are working on this project. And so I'd like to introduce the folks from Academic Affairs first, and that would be Patty Turner and Loretta Toccoli. And then our internal partners, our folks from Student Services, and that's Dorothy Plants, Natalie Sanchez, and Tracy Ohms. And of course, my partner in crime, Dr. Cindy Paterka, who's Vice President of Student Services. And then I'd also like to thank my president, Dr. Kate Hetherington, for her leadership and for the culture that she has built on our campus that encourages us to participate in these types of projects. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yes, I'm Sanjay Rai, Vice President Provost, Germantown campus of Montgomery College. I want to first introduce our President, Dr. Darian Pollard.
He decided to outdo you.
I want to get back to my office. And of course, our Dean of Science from Germantown campus, Dean Kathy Michalek. Dean of Science from our Tacoma Park campus, Dr. James Snezik. And from our engineering department, Chair of Engineering, Dr. Muhammad Kenamoy, Dr. Don Day, and from our chemistry department, Dr. Rick Pyers. Rick, you are somewhere here. Thank you. At Montgomery College, we are absolutely delighted to be part of this wonderful project. We want to thank Gates Foundation. Our president told us in her very first month that she wants us to be the most relevant community college in the nation. We are in a global knowledge-based economy, and the need for STEM workers is higher than ever. And if you look at community colleges, about half of the undergraduate students are there. About 13 million total, about 7 million full-time students. So I think success of transfer students is important, but success of STEM transfer students is even more important. Once again, this project will help us in many ways. Thank you again, especially Gates Foundation, and also University of Maryland, Baltimore County for leading us into this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. And finally, we have David Stewart.
Hi, on behalf of my president, I'd like to extend her regrets. Dr. Sandra Curtin had planned on being here, but a very recent tragic personal event has occurred, and she's in fine health. But it is my pleasure to introduce our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Chief Officer, Dr. Mark Michalek. For those who know me really well, my most recent identifier is that I am Elsie's grandfather. I have a new granddaughter who, just as luck would have it, lives in Seattle because her father works for Microsoft. I know that I speak for both myself and all the members of the individuals here from the Community College of Baltimore County to say that this past year has been both personally and professionally very rewarding. It was wonderful to have an opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue, honest conversations, establish new pathways, and develop high levels of trust. And I know we're really looking forward to moving forward over the next 3 years along those same lines of communication and trust. I'm hoping I don't forget anybody if I try and introduce the folks that are here from CCBC. I guess we have Dr. Tara Ebersol, the STEM leader. We see Fred Hickok and Physical Science, and Laurie Montgomery. Sonia Schmitz from Biology. Is Lori Budd still here? Lori from Student Services. Who have I missed? I got everybody? Oh, I'm sorry. Courtney Topolsky from Advising. Again, thanks for an opportunity to participate in this. I'm looking forward for good things, and the focus will continue to be on the success of our students and the health of STEM.
Thank you, David. So now we will take a break, about 15-20 minutes. Lunch will be served, and then we'll have greetings and remarks in a little while. So enjoy your lunch.